I think about Chainsaw Man a lot. I think about its offbeat and crass sense of humor. I think about the incredibly detailed and horrific devil designs. I think about the quiet moments where the often goofy and violent manga takes the time to weave its tale about damaged people trying to find purpose within a system that purposefully uses them up and discards them, whether they come from a troubled home or if they're seeking revenge for the murder of their family. Better yet, if they're destitute and have nowhere else to turn. The desperate are the diesel fuel in the fires of war for control against the threat of the devils. This is Denji, the hero of Chainsaw Man, a teen boy who has inherited life-crippling debt. He counts up the pay for his recent work of tree cutting, selling non-essential organs, and killing devils. Much of this made possible by his chainsaw-nosed dog, Pochita. It's an absurd and morose opening. Denji is living a life that is barely hanging on, pulled out of one tragedy and placed into a series of them by happenstance and an ever-opportunistic foe. Kishibe, the grizzled alcoholic veteran, has a theory that the only people who last long in this line of work aren't sane. That the ones the devils fear most are those with a few screws loose. The ones that accept every awful ounce of the life they lead and forsake the desire to leave it. Those that are hellbent on an irrational goal, those whose goals are empty, those capable of denying their attachments even to the people they fight alongside by day and go drinking with by night. Maybe there's something to the number of similarities between the devil hunters and 9-to-5 office workers. They dress the same, they blow off steam the same, they're never really off the clock, or their hours can extend at a moment's notice. According to Kishibe at least, no one survives without an ever-vigilant eye for the upkeep of their emotional barriers. Because if you don't, well, then you get to thinking about the things you'll likely never have. A job that leaves you fulfilled, a relationship with the person who you can be vulnerable with, more than just the bare necessities in order to survive. Himeno is on the verge of letting herself be happy, the verge of doing something she'll regret, the verge of a tragedy. She's found it, a place she belongs, friends to care for, friends who care for her. But this peace is temporary. She knows it. She sees the end of the line rapidly approaching with 1,000 knives and 1,000 fangs gleaming in a blood-soaked sheen. In the world of Chainsaw Man, happiness is fleeting, so the characters grab it while they still can, clinging tightly, knowing any day their grip will slip, and they'll just be another wound carved into the souls of the living, either spurring them on to find peace within a brutal world or reduce them to little more than fleshy bags of meat, playthings for beings far more powerful and far less concerned with these human troubles. Aki is a guy who carries a lot of regret, a lot of pain, a lot of misgivings towards Denji and Power, the two subordinates in his squad who are not entirely human. The blood fiend Power, a selfish brat. Denji, a dense and brash boy with his pet devil dog for a heart. Individually, Aki finds them troublesome, together insufferable. But this is the story of people who do not live by traditional structures. They have no typical family, no friends from school. They've not experienced the typical means of socializing that comes as a result of societal norms. They do, however, have each other for better and worse, but mostly better. Directly opposed to Kishibe's life philosophy of settling into every ounce of crap shoveled your way in order to survive. This isn't the story of people surviving, though. It's one of people learning to live, no matter the pain that comes with it. Onslaught is a word that often comes to mind when I think about Chainsaw Man. An onslaught of emotions, an onslaught of violence, an onslaught of devils. Meticulously detailed and utterly deserving of their full or double-page illustrations. Unnerving beings that tap into a sense of horror that ranges from the silly to the cosmic, reflecting author Tatsuki Fujimoto's background in studying Western painting. How something as ludicrous as a giant devil with a Midwestern Walmart's equivalent of firearms protruding from its body is made terrifying through simple tricks to the layout, and lengthy list of victim names dominating pages. Just delivered so matter-of-factly, so coldly, so overwhelmingly long. This list isn't something you're supposed to read. It's meant to feel like too many words for a page of manga. I think about the ending of Chainsaw Man a lot. about how it continues to push the stakes and battle strategies to ludicrous ends. How it takes all of the nihilism, all the goofs, all the violence, the melancholy, the hope, and wraps it together in a heartfelt finale. Compared to where Denji started, well, he is more human and whole than ever. But this isn't the end. This is just the conclusion of the first arc, which seems outrageous. I read chapter 97 and didn't feel I needed to see what came next in Denji's story. I'm not maligning this though, actually I'm just as excited as ever. I'm excited that Fujimoto gets to continue working on a piece of art the love he has for which reads so clearly in each and every page. I'm even more ecstatic that Chainsaw Man is leaving Weekly Shonen Jump behind. I don't know how Fujimoto and the team that helped him handled the weekly grind, but we know how this story often ends. When I think about some of my favorite entries into the manga and anime mediums, it's the folks creating these works whose bodies and spirits struggle and break under the strain of an industry that asks so much of its workers. While there's no guarantee that Jump Plus, an online publication, where Chainsaw Man is set to begin publishing, that plays it far more loosey-goosey with scheduling, will make the process of creating the manga painless, I'm happy the potential for a healthier work-life balance exists. I'm happy it's going to a place that feels more in line with the manga's sensibilities, that shares in the notion that these things are the future of this industry. It's been nearly 4 months since part 1 concluded. 2 months since I read through it for a second time, and I still think about Denji's early motivations and the emptiness he receives from achieving such. I think about the characters who I wanted so much more of, about the way it doesn't reduce Denji and Power's relationship to a compulsory romance like so many lesser stories would have, and just lets them be the best of buds through their repetitively violent lives. I think about Chainsaw Man a lot. And I hope that its future is as violent, soul-crushing, beautiful, and deceptively poignant and transgressive as its start. Because this is one of those works that, within a few chapters, I just knew, you know? I just knew there was something special about Tatsuki Fujimoto's Chainsaw Man. Thank you for sticking around to the end on this one. It's not the longer video I had intended to have out this month, but making videos is hard, which is why you can help me via Patreon. I recently changed the bonuses to the $5 tier. Now you can make me watch an anime of your own choosing, with some rules and stipulations around it. You can read more about that and donate over on patreon.com/wordsmaybe.